Hello, hello. Nettie Owens here with Sapari Solutions. And this is what businesses need to know right now. I have Andrea Mastrobattista with me, Chief Inspiration and Implementation Officer at Operation Inspiration. Welcome.
Thank you, Nettie.
It's so good to have you here. We've talked about this conversation for a little while, so I'm really excited to have it with you today. Andrea helps women embrace and embody their innate power to be their true selves so they can create lives that they love. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it in relation to business. And so let's just jump in right there. You talk a lot about self-empowerment. And I'm curious where that fits into this big, this whole equation of what do businesses need to know right now, especially as we're coming out of this pandemic. Why is self-empowerment so important right now?
It's important because as I started to talk to people as we went on quarantine, they felt like, everything was so uncertain, and they felt like they were losing their power and their self-empowerment, not just in business, but for themselves as well. So when that happens, the important thing is to realize the one thing that we can control when we can't control anything that's going on around us is how we react to it. And that's where self-empowerment comes in. We can empower ourselves to act in the best interest of for businesses, for our businesses, and for ourselves. Even when we can't control what's going on around us, we can control how we react to it.
But I think that's so important, especially now, and especially as we're coming out of this pandemic. And it aligns really well with what I just read about what you do, which is helping people to stay true to themselves. So what does that mean? Like if you could define, what does it mean to be true to yourself? What would that mean for you?
It encompasses a lot of things. It's personal and professional, as well as your own well-being. And I mean that physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. So when we are true to ourselves and who we are and what we want out of life, then everything comes into alignment. And to tie that back to business, I'm going to use myself as an example. I spent 16 years in corporate America. And as I got further and further in, because I was, climbing up the ladder, if you will, I found myself after a while being less and less true to my original goal of who I wanted to be, and this inspirational person. And I was taking jobs that were further and further away from that goal and who I was. I wanted to please people and say, if they said, Andrea, can you do this for this job? Of course I can. I was the people pleaser. So in people pleasing everybody else, I wasn't being true to myself. And I was actually not serving the company well because I was getting further and further away also from my skill set. So using myself as an example, that's what that means.
That was really, really clear. And I can see a direct correlation with business owners also veering away from, maybe veering away from, or even starting out not in alignment with themselves because they feel like that's what's needed. They feel like that's what's expected. And so they just don't even line up with their true selves. But what happens when you're not in alignment with that true self? What's the outcome?
And I'll use companies as an example, and even owning your own company. I, until very recently, owned two companies. For a very long time, when I left corporate America back in 2004, I was a web and print designer. And that was actually my original goal. I loved doing it. And actually very soon after I opened my company, the inspirational part of me came into play. And so I owned two companies. I started Operation Inspiration. And I was doing both for a very, very long time until last year when the pandemic started. Within the first week of New Jersey shutting down, because I'm in New Jersey, I lost every single one of my clients that were on retainer. They said, you know what, we can't keep up our contracts. We love you, but financially, this is just not, we're scared this is not going to work. And instead of panicking, I said, this is my sign. People are going to need inspiration. So rather than panicking and saying the web design is going away, I literally listened to my inner voice and was true to myself and went full bore into learning how to take my courses digitally online so I could serve my community in the pandemic and beyond. So if I hadn't listened to myself, to answer your question, I would not be serving my community right now.
So by listening to yourself, you were able to meet a need and keep your business going in the right direction, be energized by it. It wasn't that you didn't love both businesses. Mm-hmm. It was that that you were listening to that intuition and aligning with it, if I'm understanding you.
Exactly. And I was being true to myself, because as I do like web design, but the Operation Inspiration is my true passion. It's literally why I was put here. And by honoring that, and I was actually honoring my web design clients, because if my heart wasn't in it, I wasn't going to serve them as well either. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually in the process of divesting myself from that and making Operation Inspiration my full focus business-wise. So, so yeah, again, to answer your question, had I not listened, I wouldn't be serving my web design clients or my Operation Inspiration clients.
Right. And I, kind of going back to the beginning questions and your beginning answers, the more we are in alignment with our true selves, if I'm hearing you correctly, the better we can serve our clients. Absolutely. And the more we try and fit into a mold or fit into expectations, the less we are able to serve our clients. So it can be scary. I'm just curious for you, it seems like you were already on that path for Operation Inspiration, and so you stepped into it. But have you had that sense of, I'm not certain, or, some trepidation to be in alignment?
I actually have it a little bit every day, some days more than others, because it's scary doing this. We are almost kind of post-pandemic right now, but I'm working on launching those digital courses, and it's the question of every day of what if it fails, and I really because I'm listening to that inner voice and being true to myself. I'm okay with failing, because I really have this knowing. And it's actually, I'm going to bring our dear friend Victoria into this. I've been working with Victoria for over a year now, and I really have this knowing that the universe has my back. Even if I fail, something will pick me up and I will be okay. And I will continue to serve my clients, because, like I said, I have that knowing that this is why I was put here.
Well, I love to counter your what if I fail question with what if I succeed, which has been a favorite of mine.
Yes.
In moments of panic, to ask myself, like, what if this does work out? And to let that be the what if cycle that runs through my brain. Mm-hmm. And so, kind of rounding this out, what happens when you succeed? What happens when you're true to yourself?
When you're true to yourself, you were not put here to be anybody else but you. So when you are true to yourself, the universe is listening, and it brings everything into alignment. I have a quote that I'm looking at my vision board, and I've had a quote there since I started Operation Inspiration back in 2005 now. And it's, at the moment of commitment, the universe conspires to assist you. Mm. And I say, when I ever have that moment of self-doubt, I say that to myself every day.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that reminder. You've brought something to share. Mm-hmm. How can we reach you, Andrea? And what is this resource?
This is actually my new website. I'm at operationinspiration.world. And this is freebie that I have on the website. I mentioned people pleasing. I was a chronic people pleaser for years. So I have a number of what I call 5 to Thrive guides. They're 5 steps to stop this or that, or to do this or that. And this particular one is to put a stop to people pleasing. So if you happen to be a people pleaser or know somebody that is, you can direct them to this link that Nettie's got up for you. And it gets you my guide, and also it will get you, I have a very strong online community called the Inspire Fam. They're my online family, and you become a member of the Inspire Fam and you get my weekly email full of inspiration.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I will be checking that out. It's been a pleasure and a joy to have you here. If you enjoyed our presentation today, please comment below. Are you aligned with your true self? How have you helped yourself become in alignment? And what has been positive for you in doing so? We look forward to hearing your comments, and thank you for joining us today. Take care.